What's going on, everybody? Welcome to High Caliber. I've got a very special battle to show you here today. This was patch day a few weeks ago, so we got a lot of new upgrades available. Some of them affected torpedo speed. There was also consumable time, different things like that. So we were trying out a bunch of different builds the day we had this battle. And in particular, what I was trying out with the Shima here is I was experimenting with not only the different torpedoes, because there are the 20-kilometer torpedoes, 12s, and the 8s, but I was also experimenting with utilizing the legendary module. So we're trying out some of the 8-kilometer torpedoes throughout the day when we were on stream here, and I used the legendary mod with the tier, or the tier 8s, excuse me, the 8-kilometer torps, and they still moved too slow. So this was my first battle without utilizing the legendary module. So this is the 8-kilometer Shimakaze torps with the slot 3 torpedo speed boost, which is about 5%, I believe, if I remember correctly. That gets these 8-kilometer torpedoes up to a speed of 80 knots. That's right, 80 knots. It's absolutely absurd how fast these things will go. Now, I think the DD is coming around the islands from one of these sides here, so I'm going to throw a few torps out in that area. And one thing you'll find that I've actually been able to do more consistently than ever before in a Shimakaze, these torpedoes are so fast that you can torpedo DDs consistently, especially here using RPF like I am on this captain. I'm going to try and cap out B here real quick. Been uncontested so far, so that's good. See the gearing there. Go ahead and throw out some torpedoes. Use my speed boost, try and remain undetected. I don't want them to know where the torpedoes might be coming from. But again, look at the speed of those torpedoes. And keep in mind, these are not, you know, the new Swedish torpedoes that don't hit that hard. These are Shimakaze torps. They nuke stuff. Like that. That was one torpedo for a dev strike on a gearing. Now I'm seeing a group of ships over here. We got the Friedrich, Zumo, a couple Hindenburg, Edinburgh. Over here, there's no radar over here. The Stalingrad is way over at sea, so I can actually be fairly aggressive. One thing we're going to keep in mind, though, is the Hindenburg has 6-kilometer hydro. We're going to be very careful about that. Also, the 8-kilometer torpedoes, another nice thing about them, they reload very quickly. And this Akazuki, I feel like they're going to have to turn out and run away, so I'm going to throw some torpedoes out here. I might be spotted here, potentially. Just barely unspotted. That's good for us. They're trying to sneak away. They know they're detected. Those torpedoes look pretty good, though. Again, very fast. Very, very fast. They don't have great range, but they are fast. Ooh, there's another one. 2 torpedoes, 2 dev strikes, 2 DDs down. Feeling pretty good right now. So you can see the 8-kilometer torpedoes pretty good at surprising destroyers. Now, it's very possible that, you know, as time progresses here, people will get used to the fact that these kind of torpedoes will be out in the water. So they might not be as effective as time progresses, but so far when playing the Shima, I have had a lot of success with these 8-kilometer torpedoes. The Friedrich also has 6-kilometer hydro here, so that's something we got to be aware of. Trying to make sure I maintain that distance at the very least. And sometimes you might even be able to get lucky because the hydro, although it does spot torpedoes from quite a distance, challenge is the torpedoes go so fast they might not be able to do anything about it anyway. That set looks very good. Very, very good indeed. Are we going to hit? Oh, we got two floods going. Oh, and the flooding finishes them off, which counts as a dev strike because that was all damage done from one salvo. So that is 3 kills, 3 dev strikes. We do also have a cyclone coming in as well. So I have to admit, I am sold on 8 kilometer 8 kilometer Shima torps. And it's not just this game. This is the clearly I think you'll see by the end here. This is not something that you can expect consistently. But I think overall I've had continuous success with the Shimakaze using these torpedoes. So I think this Bismarck, or Turpix, excuse me, is going to turn out. I'm going to throw those torps out there. Got this Ibuki coming around as well. Looks like the Turpits might be able to turn out and away. So those will more than likely miss. I'm going to throw out a set there for the Ibuki. So we've got 2 caps now. That's really good. Yeah, they missed all those, unfortunately. Good job continuing that turn, trying to angle away from the DD. If you think a DD is in the area, you should try and angle towards it or away. Either way, try and get as skinny as possible. So well done by the Turpits there. But we still got some more work to do. We got a cyclone coming in. This Izumo heading back toward north of A. Might be able to try and cut him off with some torpedoes here. So I'm going to move north. And again, we still taking no damage, actually. So with something like the 8 kilometer super fast torpedoes like we have here on the Shima, you can actually execute some really solid YOLO runs as well. And the torpedoes are so fast that you actually could survive as well. Just because the torpedoes hit so hard and they're so fast. Might be able to get in and out of danger quick enough. But with the cyclone coming in at this point, I'm basically deciding I'm going to go YOLO rush the Izumo. I'm just going to go for it. We're up on points pretty handily here. And oh, there's an Edinburgh here. That's a bit awkward. But we've got all 3 sets of torpedoes loaded. We'll launch 1 set at the Edinburgh, and then the other 2 sets will go toward the Izumo. And let's turn out of here. We're going to pop smoke and turn out. Take some big hits there, unfortunately. Down to 2K. But there's 1 dev strike. There's 2. For a Kraken. A double strike. And yes, you see that correctly at the top of the screen. That is 5 dev strikes. 5 kills. 5 dev strikes. It was at this moment that I knew that my World of Warships career had come to an end. I'm not going to lie. I truly knew at this moment that I would never again play this well. And get this lucky. I mean, don't get me wrong. This isn't just something that I've done. It's also just a set of circumstances that have allowed me to pull these things off here. But yeah, 12 torpedoes, 5 kills, 8 floods too. That's something you should also be aware of as well, because Shimakaze torps have really good flooding chance. But there was absolutely nothing either of those ships could have done. There was no maneuver they could have pulled off that would have saved them. So we're sitting on a dev strike, or excuse me, a double strike. 5 dev strikes, a Kraken. Let's see if we can get 1 more maybe on this Turpits. I'm trying to be patient and set up the right angle here, because that is very important. I feel like they're going to want to turn out. Come on, Turpits, turn out. Turn out! And they're going to keep that same line, which is going to allow them to probably not take too many torpedoes. We shall see. They take 2, but that's going to be it. That does get us the High Caliber and Confederate Award. Another flooding as well. But that's also going to make the Dev Strike sadly impossible. So this Tirpitz is going to probably go down to some guns here. Yeah. Masashi takes care of them. And it looks like we're going to win on points here in just a moment. And I think we get another kill, and that is it. So it wasn't a particularly long game. But I wanted to share that with all of you because I knew at the time that something very special had happened. And I could say with almost absolute certainty that that will never happen again. But I'll also show you the build here so you can see how I'm running the Shima right now. I never used to be somebody that ran the 8-kilometer torpedoes, but let's go take a look. So let's start with the captain skills real quick. This is a 19-point captain I run on the Shimakaze, so I start out with priority sector, or priority target, excuse me. Priority target, very important skill, I think, in my opinion. Next up would be last stand, so that your steering and engine keep working, even if they get knocked out. This is critical for all destroyers. I've also taken survivability expert here, as well as torpedo armament expertise. This is a pure torpedo boat. Your focus should be on the torpedoes. I highly recommend this. Also take an AR to help with the reload of both the torpedoes and the guns. Concealment is a must. This is the Shima's greatest strength. At tier 10, it does have the best concealment. So you can outspot everything, which is a huge advantage. And also I use radio location, and this has actually become more valuable in light of the recent module changes, or the upgrade changes rather. Because the torpedoes are so fast, I try and utilize them against destroyers more so than I ever have in the past. And usually what you're going to be locating with your radio location skill here is probably a destroyer. So very valuable, even more so now. It also helps you not run into danger too. You know, if you run into a daring or something like that that's you know, going to outgun you, you want to be able to kind of know where they're at and make sure that you can avoid them if you want to avoid that fight. So the Shimakaze allows you to sort of pick your battles. As for the upgrades, you can use the legendary accelerated torpedo tube reload. However, the traverse speed is so slow, I don't recommend it, especially if you're going to run the 8-kilometer torpedoes. So I use the regular torpedo tube mod 2. Concealment, of course, I don't think there's anything worth taking else in addition, or other than concealment, in my opinion. Here you can use steering gears or propulsion. It depends on what you are interested in doing. If you like to move kind of like more fast slow to do your dodging, things like that, which I like to do, I use propulsion. You can also use steering gears, which could improve your maneuverability, obviously, being able to turn. So that's kind of a personal preference thing. Here's the new module that makes the 8-kilometer torps work so well, in my opinion. The plus 5% to ship speed, or not ship speed, excuse me, ship launched torpedoes. So this, along with the 8-kilometer torpedoes, gets them up to 80 knots, as we talked about earlier, which is just so fast. And you think about the fact that they're doing, you know, 21,000 damage per torpedo. That's just an incredible amount of damage for torpedoes moving that fast. And also engine room protection. This is also one of the new upgrades. Highly recommend this for any destroyer. I used to run the Damage Con mod 1 before, a lot of times on most of my DDs, because I'd rather save the damage control for engines and things like that getting knocked out. But now that you've got the engine and steering gear combined, I think this becomes more valuable. So I recommend trying this out on all your destroyers, maybe even some of your cruisers that get your engines and things like that knocked out consistently. Might be worth taking a look at. And then main armament mod 1, there's really nothing else worth taking here, in all honesty. So that is the build. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.